deep dive. We are, well, let's just say, really thrilled to jump into a show today that honestly has completely grabbed us.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one of those series that's just so engaging, packed with fascinating stuff, but also just pure entertainment.
Right.
You know the kind, right? Impossible to watch just one.
Definitely binge-worthy. The kind you immediately tell your friends, you have to watch this.
Exactly. You know they'll get hooked. So today we're talking about Buying Beverly Hills. And look, this isn't just another reality show flickering past.
No, not at all.
It's a really captivating look into a world that, well, for most people, it's pure fantasy, right? Jaw-dropping houses, fierce ambition, and the personal drama. Oh, boy.
Twists and turns you don't always see coming.
For sure. So for this deep dive, we've really gone through a lot of material. We started with the official Netflix descriptions, to get the basic framework.
The official line, so to speak.
Right. Then we dug deep into detailed episode synopsis, tracking all the plot points, who did what, when.
Which is essential for a show with this many moving parts.
But honestly, what brought it all to life, where we got those real aha moments, was wading through tons of viewer reviews.
The audience perspective. Always revealing.
Totally. Such different takes. Insights into the characters, why the show clicks for some, why it really doesn't for others. It helps you understand the resonance.
It paints a much fuller picture than just the show itself.
Our mission then, today, is to kind of peel back those layers.
Yeah.
We want to uncover the dynamics of luxury, sure, but also the ambition, the drama, give you a really comprehensive look that goes beyond just, like, casual watching.
Getting beneath the surface.
Exactly. And ultimately, we want to lay out why we think Buying Beverly Hills is so compelling, why it's such a great show to get into if you haven't already.
Ultimate case.
Yeah. So let's unpack it. It's got huge buzz, mixing that high-stakes real estate, which is fascinating in itself.
Absolutely.
With maybe even higher stakes personal drama.
Yeah.
And trust me, the sources we looked at are just brimming with juicy details.
And what's so fascinating, I think, is how it really promises more than just, house tours. Glamorous as they are,
Right.
it digs into the complex dynamics of a family business, specifically one operating at the very peak of luxury real estate.
The agency.
Precisely. So it's not just showing off beautiful homes. It's this rich tapestry, really, woven with professional challenges, intense rivalries, family stuff, personal relationships.
It's all in there.
It gives us this unique window, not just into the lifestyles, but into the human side, the strategies, the pressures behind this really aspirational world.
That's spot on. A perfect lead-in to our first big topic, the Golden Gates, inside the agency in Beverly Hills real estate.
The heart of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At the very core, the golden thread, you could say, running through everything is the agency. This family-run company, founded by Mauricio Umansky. It's presented as a real powerhouse.
And it is in that world.
And the show makes it super clear. This isn't your average suburban real estate office. Their whole focus, their bread and butter, is trading these incredibly luxurious, aspirational homes in Beverly Hills.
The top of the market. Mansions, estates.
Properties that define that lifestyle, the dreamscape. And Netflix itself nails the appeal in its description. Yes, you get the property tours, which are stunning.
Can't deny that.
But it also promises equally interesting drama among the brokers. And that's the hook, isn't it? It's not just about the bricks and mortar. It's the human stories tangled up in them.
And that blend is really crucial, I think, to why it works. The show gets classified in a few ways. Reality series, American TV, lifestyle.
Kind of covers all the bases.
Right. And that's not just a label. It feels strategic. It's designed to pull in different kinds of viewers, people curious about the real estate market, sure.
Yeah, the business side.
But also anyone who just loves watching, real life drama unfold. Relationships, rivalries, ambition.
The human element.
Exactly. That mix suggests the show wants to offer something richer, more varied than just one thing. A whole picture of this elite world.
And it totally delivers. I mean, when you talk about the allure of these properties, the scale is just mind-boggling.
Really is.
Reviewers constantly mention the stunning, do people really live like that?
Yeah.
Properties. And honestly, it's not hyperbole. These aren't just houses.
They're palaces, estates.
Truly. And the scale of the deals puts it all in perspective. Like, remember, in Season 1, Episode 8, John Gromman lands the agency's highest price listing to date.
The $139 million one?
$139 million for one property.
Yeah.
I mean, just wrap your head around that number for a second.
It's almost abstract, isn't it?
And it's not just sales. Season 2, Episode 3, they're checking out a rental property for $150,000.
A month.
A month. $150,000. monthly.
That just signifies a completely different economic stratosphere.
It does.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating there isn't just the price tag, but thinking about the market for that kind of ultra-luxury rental. Who are these clients? What do they need beyond just square footage?
Right, the service level must be incredible. Discretion, bespoke requests.
Full-time staff, probably.
Yeah.
Privacy above all else. It's a whole ecosystem built around that kind of wealth.
And this show gives us these rare glimpses into how these transactions actually happen, right? It shows the meticulous work involved. It's way beyond just holding an open house.
Oh, for sure.
You see the effort to even get the listings, cultivating relationships with these ultra-high net worth people who value privacy above almost everything.
Building that trust.
Then the presentations they make to these incredibly demanding clients, every single detail is scrutinized. The history of the place, the tech.
Smart homes, security, everything.
And then, of course, the negotiations. Tense, dramatic, sometimes dragging on for weeks, months even. Complex legal stuff, financial maneuvering.
It's not just showing houses. It's showing the high-level strategy, the immense pressure involved in that elite market.
Exactly. It emphasizes that even with all that money flying around, these deals are incredibly complex. You need to understand real estate, sure, but also psychology, negotiation, timing.
Human psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great transition to the people involved. Which brings us to the players, a cast of characters and their intertwined lives.
Where the real drama often lies.
Absolutely. This show is like a masterclass in character and relationships, especially because it is a family business. The professional gets tangled with the personal constantly, sometimes disastrously.
Always adds complexity.
Let's start at the top. Mauricio Umansky, founder, CEO, charismatic guy.
The patriarch.
Yeah. And a lot of positive reviews paint him as a good boss, a great mentor. You see moments where he's guiding agents, giving advice, seems to foster a supportive vibe.
Leading by example, or that's the impression.
But there's always a but with fewer reviews.
Yeah.
We found one who, frankly, questioned his smarts in running such a big agency.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of speculated if maybe his good looks were the main reason for his early success, which is provocative, right? Shows not everyone buys the polished image.
That's a fascinating contrast in perception, isn't it? Because while he presents as this successful, maybe benevolent leader,
Yeah.
the show also subtly explores the challenges he's facing, especially personally. Season 2, Episode 1 mentions unrest with Kyle, his wife.
Right, Kyle Richards. Big storyline.
And by Season 2, Episode 7, it's openly stated their marriage is in crisis due to busy schedules. That personal struggle inevitably bleeds into the business.
Has to.
It adds this layer of complexity to his leadership. And remember, in Season 1, Episode 8, he announces the family business expansion.
Yeah, seemed like a big power move.
Which it was, business-wise. But you could also see it as adding more pressure to an already strained personal life. Maybe even a distraction, who knows? That intertwining of personal and professional is core to his narrative.
Then you have Farah El-Jufri, Mauricio's eldest daughter. Really central character.
Very prominent.
And she comes across immediately as a strong woman. Very professional, serious about her job. Reviews mention her respected work ethic a lot. She's clearly a top agent in her own right, not just the boss's daughter.
Earned her stripes, it seems.
But because it's reality TV and a family business, her personal life inevitably becomes office chat. Season 2, Episode 5, her love life is gossip fodder.
Especially after the engagement storyline in Season 1.
Exactly, which reviewers like Tracy Gorey pointed out, it just shows even if you're super professional, you can't escape that social microscope in that environment.
Which raises a really interesting point. How does someone like Farah, who is so professional, navigate that intersection? Her personal life under a microscope, the demands of the business, all on camera.
It must be intense.
And we see her face real professional challenges, too. There's that clash with Melissa in Season 2, Episode 6 over a listing.
Right, I remember that.
And maybe even more telling, in Season 1, Episode 7, she actually expresses discontent about unfair commission allocation directly to Mauricio.
To her own father and boss. That takes guts.
It does. It shows that even as family, even as a top earner, she's not immune to those classic workplace pressures about fairness and recognition. It's a universal struggle, isn't it, even in Beverly Hills?
Totally. Okay, next up, Alexia Umansky, another daughter. Her journey is, I think, maybe one of the most compelling arcs.
A lot of growth there, potentially.
Yeah, she starts as the clear newcomer, fresh out of college, and wow, the learning curve is steep. Season 1, Episode 1, she's making constant mistakes.
Doesn't hide it.
and get some really harsh evaluations from Melissa in episode 2. Remember the C grade for the open house? Some viewers thought that was generous.
Ouch. Yeah, I remember viewers saying it should have been an F- or something.
Right. You can almost feel her struggling, especially after that conflict in episode 3 where she felt betrayed. It's a raw start.
Very vulnerable.
But what's great is seeing her grow. By season 1, episode 7, she pulls off that influencer-packed open house, really showed initiative, thinking outside the box, using modern marketing, surprised people.
Adapting, learning.
Viewer opinions on her are super polarized, though. Some label her a spoiled brat, based on the early stuff. Others call her the most genuine. Amazing, maybe because she was so open about learning.
That contrast is interesting.
And she actively tries to build alliances, right? Trying to team up with Michelle in season 2, episode 4, then Tyler in season 2, episode 6, shows she wants to carve her own path beyond just family. It's a classic coming-of-age story, just with million-dollar houses.
It really is. And Alexia's development, trying to shake off that spoiled brat label and build her own professional identity, it really highlights the double-edged sword of the family business, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, any critique she faces, fair or not, gets amplified because she's family. It basically forces her to work visibly harder to prove she belongs, both to her colleagues and, to us watching.
Yeah, proving her own worth.
It's like a microcosm for anyone trying to make it under the shadow of a successful family name.
Good point. And then the arrival that really shook things up. Sophia Umansky, youngest daughter, joins in season 2.
Instant tension.
Yeah. Right away, season 2, episode 1, some brokers express uneasiness. You could feel the dynamic shift. And viewer opinions. Whoa, very direct, often critical.
What were they saying?
Things like no personality, very entitled, she seems scared of everything, and blunt comments like she's in the absolute wrong business for her personality.
That's harsh.
It is. One reviewer, Nad Lockman, described an instant cringe moment just minutes into season 2, episode 1 during her soft launch. There was this kind of awkward singing bit.
Oh, I vaguely remember that. Seemed out of place.
Totally. There's this strong viewer sentiment that she's a typical rich, spoiled brat.
Yeah.
And many question why the show tries to, glorify her when she seems uncomfortable talking to people. Maybe not cut out for sales. Just lacking that drive compared to her sisters.
It creates a really stark contrast.
It does. And this leads right into that huge theme from the reviews. The Nepo team, or Nepo babies.
Yes, it comes up constantly.
It profoundly influences the office dynamics, right? How feedback is given, how it's received, the respect levels between family and non-family agents.
Absolutely. When the younger generation seems to get special treatment or maybe seems less qualified but still gets opportunities, it causes friction. Resentment.
You can see it simmering sometimes.
It forces you, the viewer, to question that whole meritocracy versus family ties thing in a workplace. How does that imbalance affect morale? Fairness. The show really puts a spotlight on those tensions, maybe without even meaning to sometimes. They become a huge driver of the drama.
Totally agree. The nepotism thing is massive. But it's not just the Umanskys. The supporting agents are crucial, too. They bring their own rivalries, relationships, personalities, making it a real ensemble.
Definitely. Like Ben Black.
Yes. Ben, super popular with viewers, consistently called the most realistic, best personality to watch.
He seems grounded.
Yeah. He's shown as this strong mentor to Joey early on, season 1, episode 1. And their relationship evolves. You see more friendship later in season 1.
Good dynamic there.
And what's interesting with Ben is seeing his career temptations. He gets that tempting offer from a competitor in season 1, episode 5.
Shows the market realities.
Right? Even established guys are always looking. It's not just about agency loyalty, it's about their own path.
Oh.
And later, season 2, episode 8, he partners up with Tyler. Shows shifting alliances.
Ben's character is really insightful because he does ground the show a bit. He's a foil to some of the more, let's say, insulated family dynamics.
Yeah, provides contrast.
And him considering that offer really underlines how competitive the luxury market is, way beyond just the agency. It makes you ask, in a world driven by commission and connections, how do agents balance firm loyalty with personal ambition and money?
It's a constant calculation, I bet.
Have to assume so.
Then there's Joey Bensby. His initial portrayal, pretty strong, not always flattering.
Came off a bit arrogant.
Yeah. Reviewers called him prideful, overconfident, lacking respect for older people early in season 1.
Yeah.
Like the stereotypical brash young agent.
We've all met that type.
But what's cool is he seems to have significant character development later in season 1. Matures a bit, gains humility, learns from mistakes.
Redemption arc.
Kind of. Though old habits maybe die hard. He clashes with Alexia over that huge $28 million listing in Season 2, Episode 1, a classic turf war.
Ah, the competitiveness
And
returns.
he demands answers about Jack's loyalty later in Season 2, so he's still confrontational when he needs to be.
Joey's journey is a pretty good look at professional growth, right?
Okay.
And the challenges of fitting into a high-stakes place where reputation is everything.
Sure.
His initial arrogance, then the evolution. It mirrors a lot of young professionals in demanding fields. It shows that even with all the glamour and money, basic workplace stuff, respect, collaboration, owning mistakes still matters.
Good point. Fundamentals are fundamentals.
Personal development doesn't stop.
Okay, John Grumman, another key player, always makes a strong impression.
Very experienced.
Yeah, portrayed as a great mentor in Season 1, Episode 4, giving solid advice, especially to newer agents like Brandon, and clearly highly skilled. He's the one who landed that record $139 million listing in Season 1, Episode 8.
The big fish.
He really embodies that peak professional success within the firm. A steady hand.
Seems like it.
Then, Sneak Evade. Interesting background, right? Former American Idol singer.
Adds a different flavor. Public profile already established.
Definitely. And her personal drama becomes a major storyline. Confronting her boyfriend about his past with another agent in Season 1, Episode 5.
Yeah.
Very public, very awkward.
Yeah, that was intense.
Then trying to reconcile with Kevin in Season 1, Episode 6, showing those relationship issues linger. In Season 2, she gets some bad news at the office, a moment of vulnerability.
Right.
And later, Season 2, Episode 10, she challenges Brandon about Kevin's house, suggesting those personal entanglements are still impacting her professional life.
Sanika's storyline adds that layer of personal vulnerability amidst all the professional hustle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It really highlights that even people with public profiles, people in the spotlight, carry their past relationships and struggles into work. And those things do impact interactions, focus, decisions.
Can't just switch it off.
It makes you wonder, how do people manage those blurring lines? Public persona, private life, demanding job, especially when it's all playing out on reality TV. It's a really delicate balance.
For sure. Okay, Brandon. His journey is more about perseverance, quiet growth.
Under the radar a bit more.
Kind of. Starts out struggling. Remember the mock open house fail in Season 1, Episode 2? Shows the pressure.
Yeah, tough start.
But he gets encouragement from guys like John in Season 1, Episode 4.
Yeah.
And he plays a key role later in Season 1, explaining to Alexia why some agents treat her differently. Gave that outsider perspective on the Nepo baby thing.
Oh, that was insightful.
And in Season 2, he confronts Ben over an Instagram post. A very modern workplace conflict about social media and reputation.
Sign of the times.
Then there's Jack.
Hmm.
His loyalty gets tested, right? Tempting offers from a rival firm in Season 2, Episode 2.
The headhunting.
Yeah, shows how competitive it is for talent. He also makes that ill-advised ticking time bomb joke in Season 2, Episode 3.
Uh-oh, bad timing.
Totally. Comes back to bite him later when his loyalty is questioned, and Joey demands an explanation in Season 2, Episode 9. By the end of Season 2, he's facing a major career decision. Leaves you hanging.
That constant theme of loyalty and the temptations from rivals, it really hammers home the cutthroat nature of high-end real estate.
Definitely.
Agents are always being poached, allegiance is tested, especially when big money is involved. It makes you think. In a commission-driven world, what actually keeps an agent loyal? Especially when personal relationships are mixed in.
Is it camaraderie, money, shared vision?
Probably a mix of all three, depending on the person.
Finally, let's touch on Michelle. She's the one who really vocalizes concerns about the Umansky daughters inheriting the agency, right? Season 2, Episode 6.
Saying what maybe others were thinking.
Exactly. Reflecting a sentiment probably shared by other non-family agents and viewers too. And leads to that tense confrontation with Farrah and Alexia at an open house in Season 2, Episode 7. They call her out.
Didn't back down, though.
No. And Mauricio himself has to step in. Meets with her about her bold statements in Season 2, Episode 9. Shows her concerns weren't just whispers, they were impacting the office dynamic.
Making waves.
So you put all these people, all these storylines together, what does it all mean? It's this incredible ensemble, each with their own ambitions, flaws, and their relationships are just as complex, maybe more complex, than the deals they're closing.
It really is a microcosm, isn't it? Ambition, competition, family dynamics, all against this backdrop of unbelievable wealth.
Human drama, just amplified by the Beverly Hills setting.
And that collective picture makes you ask, how do these individuals, their personalities, their connections, especially within a family business, shape the conflicts we see?
Yeah, what drives it all?
This show demonstrates brilliantly, I think, that even in this high glamour world, the core human drivers, ambition, insecurity, loyalty, family bonds, are still the most potent forces.
Often more explosive than any property deal.
Exactly. That intertwining of personal and professional isn't just background noise. It is the engine of the narrative. Especially when families involved, office politics get magnified tenfold.
And that brings us right to the next big piece. The reality of reality. Drama, conflict, and viewer reception.
Ah, yes, the audience reaction.
This is where it gets really interesting because opinions on the drama level are just all over the place. A total wild ride.
Polarizing, you mean?
Hugely. Some reviewers found much less drama compared to other Netflix real estate shows, thought it was more grounded, more businesslike.
Okay, more restrained.
But then completely opposite end, others called it terrible way drama or straight up soap opera. Like they were exasperated by the theatrics.
Wow, quite the range.
And you see specific conflicts playing out constantly. Alexia's struggles and people debating her maturity, Sinek's relationship issues spilling into work, the broker rivalries and loyalty tests, and of course the Umansky family dynamics, including Mauricio's stuff with Heil.
All standard reality TV fodder, in a way.
True. But one reviewer, NYC Foodie, called some of it childish and exaggerated. But even they admitted it was still entertaining, which says something, right? Even if you see through it, you can still get drawn in.
That wide range of reactions to the drama is really telling, isn't it?
How so?
It just highlights how differently viewers define or expect reality in reality TV. Some clearly want authentic business insights, a grounded portrayal. Others are there purely for the interpersonal fireworks, the emotional ride.
Two different audiences, almost.
And the show tries to serve both, which inevitably leads to these diverse reactions depending on what you, the viewer, prioritize. It's that complex contract between the show and its audience.
And that feeds right into the whole authenticity versus scripting debate. Always comes up with reality shows.
The eternal question.
A common critique of Buying Beverly Hills is that it feels fake, clearly manipulated. Some reviewers mentioned terrible acting, fake storylines. One person just flat out said, most of these reality shows are scripted anyway. Reflects that general skepticism, doesn't it? The idea that even if based on real events, it's heavily produced, structured for drama.
Shaped for narrative flow.
And there's that specific concern that potential villains, or people prone to conflict, are kind of made to act in a certain way according to the script.
Pushed into roles.
Yeah, implying personalities are exaggerated for TV, which can be frustrating if you're looking for genuine interactions, you know. Feels like a betrayal if you suspect it's all fake.
This critique really raises that central question for the whole genre, right? How do you balance the audience's craving for real human drama with the production demands? Structured narratives, editing, maybe casting for conflict.
It's inherent to the format.
Exactly. The fake critique isn't unique to this show. It reflects a broader skepticism about reality TV. Viewers feel betrayed if they think it's contrived, yet paradoxically, many still watch for entertainment. It's a complex relationship with authenticity.
A real tightrope walk for producers. And this naturally leads to comparisons with other real estate shows. Viewers love doing that.
Especially Selling Sunset.
The big one, yeah. Buying Beverly Hills is often measured against it, and lots of viewers called it much classier and less cheesy.
Interesting. Why?
A lot of comments about the agents dressing appropriately for business, looking more professional. A contrast to Selling Sunset, which some felt focused more on making the agents instant celebrities, more about looks, rivalries, drama than the actual real estate sometimes.
A different vibe, then.
Seems so, but not everyone agreed. Some still preferred Millionaire LA, saying it was much better. Shows there are different tastes even within this niche.
Sure, different strokes.
So the audience reception overall, it's fascinating. Truly a wild ride. Some people are obsessed, addicted. Others are, well, significantly less impressed.
The two extremes again.
On the plus side, it gets called one of the best real estate series on Netflix. People praise that the cast seems real, that they act like adults and communicate. Seen as refreshing.
Less manufactured drama, perhaps.
That's the feeling some get. Many find it hits that perfect balance of business and pleasure, giving you industry insights and human drama. Some even mentioned a laugh-out-loud quality.
Genuinely enjoyable for them.
And those stunning "do people really live like that" properties are a huge draw, adding that aspirational element.
That polarization in opinions really reveals the complex relationship audiences have with watching wealth, ambition, and maybe the ethics of reality TV itself.
How do you mean?
Well, one group is clearly drawn to the aspiration, the glimpse into elite business, but another group seems repelled by what they see as excessive materialism, a disconnect from everyday life.
Yeah, you see that criticism too.
It suggests the show, maybe unintentionally, sparks these bigger conversations about wealth, privilege, responsibility. It becomes more than just entertainment. It's a cultural talking point.
And the negative feedback can be really strong, really passionate. Some viewers were blunt. Never watched something so stupid, calling the daughters ridiculous idiots who have no brain and make a drama about every little thing.
Wow, unfiltered.
Totally. And then there were more profound concerns. One reviewer felt the show promotes extreme capitalism and materialism, expressing real anger about displaying such wealth when there's suffering in the world.
Bringing in real-world context.
Yeah, this person specifically contrasted the show's petty problems with the real loss experienced by a friend, urging the cast to think about someone other than yourself and use their wealth less selfishly. Really shows how these shows can hit a nerve about societal issues.
A lightning rod for broader anxieties.
Definitely. And beyond the big stuff, some viewers just got annoyed by quirks, like the cast overusing the word literally found it distracting.
Aha, the little things can grate.
So yeah, some are captivated by the luxury and drama, others find it off-putting or even offensive. Huge spectrum.
And what's really fascinating is how the show navigates that tension-perceived authenticity versus the constructed narratives of reality TV.
Yeah.
This whole range of reactions brings us back to what do viewers really want from this genre? And how does this show manage to both satisfy and frustrate those expectations?
It's tricky.
The positive feedback suggests a hunger for more professional, maybe less overtly dramatic reality real estate shows. Focus on the business. But the negative comments highlight the risks of portraying real life in a format always subject to production choices.
So pulling it all together, why Buying Beverly Hills is a must-watch deep dive. What's the bottom line?
I think it comes down to its unique blend.
It really does strike an effective balance, doesn't it? You get the high-stakes real estate insights, the deals, the strategies,
Which is fascinating for anyone interested in that world.
but you also get compelling personal stories, workplace drama. It appeals to you, our listener, the learner, interested in both industry specifics and human dynamics.
The business and the pleasure, so to speak.
Exactly. You see the complex negotiations, the amazing properties, but also the relationships evolving, the conflicts, the growth, or the mistakes. It's the whole package.
And the cast is so diverse in personality, isn't it? Each brings their strengths, flaws, their evolving connections. It gives you constant aha moments about ambition, loyalty, professional growth.
Like Alexia's learning curve. From mistakes to that influencer event. Real grit.
Or Joey's journey, from maybe overconfident to more mature, shows the impact of experience. These arcs invite you to think about development under that reality TV spotlight.
And you can't ignore the visual feast. The stunning properties are a huge part of the appeal. Pure eye candy.
Absolutely, the glamour factor.
But it's not just a glossy tour. It mixes that glamour with the underlying reality of how competitive this industry is. You see the allure, but also the grind.
The hard work, the sharp thinking, the emotional toll behind the big deals.
Yeah, it shows that even in this world of huge wealth, success takes relentless effort, smarts, understanding people. Ultimately, what makes this deep dive and the show itself so enjoyable is how it pulls you into a world that feels both totally aspirational
A fantasy land.
and yet incredibly human, flaws and all.
If we connect it to the bigger picture, Buying Beverly Hills really is a fascinating case study in modern reality TV. It blends that aspirational lifestyle stuff with genuinely compelling interpersonal drama.
Makes for great watching.
It does. It's a show that invites critical thinking about family and business, ambition, reality versus scripting. But at the same time, it just delivers significant entertainment value.
You get to peek into this exclusive world, see the inner workings, reflect on universal themes, all wrapped up in a really engaging show.
Well put.
So wrapping up, Buying Beverly Hills, definitely a worthwhile deep dive. It's so much more than just fancy houses. It's about the drive, the ambition, the messy family stuff, the drama that happens when high-stakes business meets personal lives in that Beverly Hills pressure cooker.
A potent mix.
We really encourage you, if you haven't already, watch it on Netflix. Form your own opinions. Watch the characters, see how they change. Decide for yourself what feels real versus scripted.
It's definitely an engaging watch, sparks discussion.
For sure. And as you're watching, maybe thinking about all that wealth and success,
Yeah.
here's a final thought for you to ponder, building on everything we've discussed. In a world so fascinated by wealth and outward success, what truly defines a successful life or career? Especially when every win, every failure, is played out for millions on screen, blurring that line between private goals and public performance.